Short form video, the new king of content. But what about our faithful friend, long form video? Did we leave that in the dust? No, of course not. So how do we know when to use short form or long form for a piece of content? Well, here to talk about it today is video trainer here at Impact, Lindsay Otten. How's it going, Lindsay?
Bad, Austin. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing great. Excited for our topic today. We're talking about short form versus long form video. And I just want to get started let's start out with short form. We know it's kind of the new kid on the block. It's super popular. Everybody's using it. What is kind of some of that magic behind why it became so popular?
Yeah, so, media is constantly evolving and short form really took off. It's been taking off for a while now. If you remember back in the day, I'm forgetting, and I say back in the day, back in my day, when I was in, I want to say high school or college, so almost 10 years ago, Vine was a thing. Remember Vine had a moment and then it went away.
Miss
And
that.
now, yeah, short form is a really took off, at least in business land, took off last year when YouTube Shorts became a thing that people would use to drive engagements to their channel or drive new subscribers to their channel, drive viewership to their channel. Instagram uses short form content really well as well. And then obviously with the rise of TikTok, short form content has become a popular medium to consume video content over the last couple of years. So while it's been around for a while, think back to the world of Vine and that type of short form content, it's sort of sputtered out then, and then now, recently it's had a renaissance in the different platforms that utilize it and the way that we consume media now. So to make a long story long, to answer your question, it's definitely been around for a long time. However, it's just within the last few years that I think businesses in particular are starting to really utilize it to its full potential.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that is a good point because it really has been around a while. And the pioneers who, like Gary Vee kind of people, were always pushing for businesses to use it. But like you mentioned, really just in the last year or two has been times where all businesses have said, oh, maybe I should get on this too. So what about the short form makes it so powerful as a business to be using it?
Yeah. What makes it powerful for businesses to use is that it really caters to how people view things now. And when I say how people view things now is that we have, everyone knows this, short attention spans. It's a really fast, easy to digest way of consuming information that for businesses, like the businesses that we help that are doing the Ask You Answer, it's a way for us to meet viewership where it's at in terms of how they consume and learn new information. And so what makes it a powerful tool for businesses is that it shows that businesses are up to date with the tools, the technology that people want to consume their information with, but it also helps build trust in that a business is recognizing, oh, my audience might like to consume video in this way. And so they, make short form content that caters to how people like to learn today. And that's why it's such a powerful tool for businesses to use.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what does then long form video have that short form still does not? And what would make it superior, not superior, but what would make you want to use long form over short form?
Yeah, great question. Austin, I'm actually going to ask you a question in response to this.
Yeah.
So, then what are the instances where you find yourself watching a long form video?
Yeah, I would say if I'm trying to go in depth on things, whether that's like I like video podcasts or if I'm trying to learn something, that depends. If it's something that's quick, and sometimes long form videos take too long to get to the point, I'll learn something on a short form. But if I really need to know how to do something and watch through visually all the ways to do that or go into depth on it, I'll watch the long form.
Right. So two instances where you might choose a long form video over a short form video are you need to do a deep dive into a topic. Or, you mentioned podcasting, video podcasting, podcasting as a long form media that has really grown in the last however many years. Podcasting is one of my favorite ways to consume content as well. But that's really, like, you hit the nail on the head. Those are two instances of when it might be more appropriate to use long form versus short form. If you have a topic that you know is going to take 3 to 5 minutes to explain in depth and to really satisfy what it takes to learn something about that topic, you should always create that 3 to 5 minute video. However, that doesn't mean you can't create the short form version of that to then promote the long form version of that video so that you can have both, essentially. So I think there is a place for short form content to live on its own. But then there's also a place for short form content to promote long form video. And I think that the distinction is, if you need to explain it in depth, it needs to be a long form video. If it can be done in 60 seconds or less, go for that short form content. Or if you make your long form content, make the short form video that complements that and promotes that long form video.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I was kind of just thinking again about your question, and for the educational side, when I'll use short form, it's something like how to boil an egg, where it's like, I don't need to watch a 10-minute video about how to boil an egg. I could probably do it in 60 seconds. But if I'm trying to change the brakes on my car, I don't want to watch a 1-minute video and then try to do that. So that makes sense. For short form content, would you say it's better to repurpose an already made long form video or to create new content that is short form?
Good question, Austin. I think there's place for both. I think that you should be repurposing your long form content. There's a lot of value in saying, like, here's a clip from a long form video, publishing the short form version, and then promoting that long form video. But then there's also value in creating short form content that exists only as short form content. And that doesn't have to be a stretch to create. So if you're the Ask You Answer company and you have a content manager who is doing video interviews for their articles, let's say they're setting up on Zoom or another platform and they're hitting record, and you have a subject matter expert who's talking in depth about topics, there's no stopping you from taking that interview, running it through a tool like Vidyo. That's the one I recommend, Vidyo. And pulling out short form clips that could be used on your social media platforms, whether that's Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. And that's not a lot of extra effort to go through to create some native short form content that could be really helpful to someone who's trying to consume your content. And you could embed that on your articles. So if you take an Instagram reel that's about a topic that lives within an article and embed that, that's another way to create an interactive article that people would be interested in engaging with. So to answer your question, does it have to be repurposed, or can it be, I'm going to say, net new content? I'd say there's room for both. And you should create both. A lot of variety helps, viewership understand that this company is not just a one-trick pony. They're creating different types of content that live in different places for everyone to consume for how they like to learn. So I would say think of the things that you are already doing, the types of media you are already creating, and ask yourself the question, am I using this piece of content to its fullest extent with all of the media that I have recorded with me? And if you're not, then find a way to make the work that you're already doing more efficient so that you can get more out of something that you're already creating, like those recordings, for example.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot too. And it makes it seem a lot less daunting to create that extra content as well.
What's nice about it is you have these beautiful polished short form videos that you're already creating from the repurposed long form content, but then you have these sort of off the cuff subject matter interviews where these people are in the moment, they're maybe going into depth on something, and it feels really like authentic. And I think that type of content lends itself really well to short form. Like you can have a mix of both. You can have the high quality production value, but then also the authentic conversational piece that I think short form gravitates more towards than long form video does.
All right. Well, thanks, Lindsay. Always love hearing your take on these things. Love hearing your genius. And we're excited to see you on the next one.
Thanks, Austin.
As you can see, some videos are better for long form or better for short form, or sometimes you can even use both forms together in your strategy. If you or your business need some help with video content strategy, contact us at impactplus.com today to start working with a trainer just like Lindsay.